Hello everyone. Today in this video we are going to discuss about one very important topic, which is integration of Jammu and Kashmir into India. You see, prior to India's independence, when British were ruling over India, the territory of India was of two types. One used to be called as British India, another used to be called as Princely State. British India was that territory where British used to rule directly. On the other hand, in princely states, British allowed prince to govern, but those princes, they had accepted the sovereignty of British in their princely states, right? So there are two kind of territories. Now, in 1947, when India got independence from British, there are two things happened. One, India got partitioned into two countries, namely India and Pakistan. Secondly, the fate of princely states, British did not decide. So British, they gave princely states three options. So first option was a princely state can join India. Second option was a princely state can join Pakistan. And third option was they can choose to remain independent for indefinite time. So there's no time frame mentioned till what time they decide to which country to join. Now, among many princely states which are there at the time, nearly more than 550 princely states were there at the time. Most of them, their integration to either India or Pakistan was very smooth, except few. Those few are Jammu and Kashmir, the princely state of Hyderabad, and the princely state of Junagadh. In this particular video, we are going to discuss about the integration of princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. I hope you all know the location of Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir, it is located in the northernmost part of India, right? It is a northernmost state of India, and it shares a large border with Pakistan as well. Now, Jammu and Kashmir, it has three major regions. One region is Jammu, another is Kashmir, and the third region is Ladakh. Now, Jammu, it has majority of Hindu population. In Kashmir, the majority population is of Muslims, and in Ladakh region, the majority population is Buddhist population. Yes. So Jammu and Kashmir, it is a very big princely state, but population is very sparsely. The population density is very low. Reason being, the territory of the state is such, right? Most of the population is concentrated in Jammu and Kashmir region. In Ladakh region, population density is very low. Now, in 1947 again, when British gave independence, the king there in Jammu and Kashmir, his name was Raja Hari Singh. The king decided not to join either Pakistan or India. Now, both the countries, India as well as Pakistan, India did not pressurize the king to join India, but on the other hand, Pakistan, it was expecting that Jammu and Kashmir will become their part. Reason being that Jammu and Kashmir, first, it shares a large border with Pakistan. Secondly, they thought that the majority population in Jammu and Kashmir is of Muslims. So when king for next 2 months after independence did not decide which country to join, or basically he was thinking to remain independent, the government in Pakistan, it became very suspicious of the king. What they did was, with the help of the tribal militia of Pakistan, they invaded the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, right? So it was in October, on 22nd October 1947, the tribal militia backed by the government of Pakistan, it invaded the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, which resulted into king becoming terrified that maybe these militias, they will kill the king himself, and they will occupy or they will take the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, in such circumstance, the king approached to government of India, asking the help of government of India to fight against the tribal militia backed by Pakistan. Now, government of India said that right now Jammu and Kashmir is not part of India, right? And hence we cannot help Jammu and Kashmir in their fight against Pakistan. If Jammu and Kashmir decides to choose to become part or to merge Jammu and Kashmir with India, then Jammu and Kashmir will be territory of India, and then we will be having a right to self-defense against Pakistan, right? So, in such a circumstance, the king, that is Raja Hari Singh, signed something called as Instrument of Accession with India. Under this Instrument of Accession, apart from three subjects, that is defense, external affairs, and communication, all the other subjects, they were given to the state itself, or laws over those subjects could be made by the state of Jammu and Kashmir. But over these subjects, now the government of India or Parliament of India was given the power to make laws. Right now, when Instrument of Accession was signed by the king with India, now Indian government decided to send Indian army to fight against the tribal militia led by Jammu and Kashmir. Now, when Indian military was fighting against the tribal militia, in the militia only, people they say that without uniform, the army of Pakistan that was also involved, right? So India was fighting against them. At the same time, what also happened was that India, because it was a very newly independent country, it did not want a full-scale war. Also, the Prime Minister of interim government at that time in India, that is Pandit Nehru, he was kind of an idealist. He had he was a believer in multilateral institutions like UN. So what he did was in January 1948, when Indian military was making the Pakistani forces to recede. At the same time, it was India only which approached to United Nations in January 1948, asking the help of UN to force Pakistan to leave Jammu and Kashmir. Now UN, it studied the matter, and then UN, it passed a resolution. In that resolution, UN asked that both the sides, both India and Pakistan, they should give this right to the people of Jammu and Kashmir to decide which country they want to join. Basically, they demanded for something called as plebiscite. Right? Through a plebiscite, it should be decided whether Jammu and Kashmir people of Jammu and Kashmir want to merge with India or Pakistan. But before plebiscite could be conducted, they kept two conditions. First, that Pakistani forces which were there in Jammu and Kashmir, they will first be receding back to Pakistan. Then Indian forces will also be leaving Jammu and Kashmir, and then in a non-militarized environment or atmosphere, the plebiscite will be held. Now Pakistan, these two conditions only were not met, and hence till now plebiscite has not been conducted in Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan said, we are suspicious that if we take back our forces, Indian government will not take its forces back, and they might occupy the whole territory. And India also said that till the time Pakistan does not take back its forces, we cannot conduct the plebiscite. Now, when both the countries, they did not accept this resolution of UN, after this, the next resolution which was passed by UN was for ceasefire. So UN said that now wherever the forces of these two countries are, they should immediately stop fighting, and that border, wherever these two forces were there at the time, this border is now called as LOC, line of control. And because of this, a large part of Jammu and Kashmir now is with Pakistan, right? So because the resolution passed by UN of ceasefire, both the countries accepted this resolution, and the ceasefire was met or started. And in this ceasefire, because even now some territory or significant territory of Jammu and Kashmir was still under the occupation of Pakistani forces, that territory even now is with Pakistan. This territory, India call it as POK, Pakistan Occupied Kashmir. The Pakistan calls it as Azad Kashmir, right? So that is what the history of Jammu and Kashmir was. Now at the same time, in India, what was parallelly happening was that there was Constitution Assembly was formed, right? After Maharaja signing the Instrument of Accession, members from Jammu and Kashmir were also made part of Constituent Assembly, and hence the integration of Jammu and Kashmir into Constitution of India, this process also started. So 4 members from Jammu and Kashmir were added to the Constituent Assembly of India. Among those 4 members only, one was Sheikh Abdullah, who became the Chief Minister later on of Jammu and Kashmir. Right? So when Constituent Assembly was drafting the Constitution of India, for Jammu and Kashmir, special provisions were made under Article 370. Special provisions like Jammu and Kashmir can have its own constitution, they can have their own flag. Right? So a greater autonomy was granted to the Jammu and Kashmir because of the disputed nature, because the matter reached up to UN and it could not be resolved between India and Pakistan, because of which it gave more autonomy to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Right? So Article 370, and after this, by a presidential order, Article 35A was also added to the Constitution of India, which gave Jammu and Kashmir a right to determine who is citizen of Jammu and Kashmir, and those citizens only got some exceptional rights which others don't have in India. Right? So Article 370, Article 35A, they gave special rights to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. In the year 2019, Government or Parliament of India has abrogated Article 370 as well as Article 35A. Right? So, and also by the same act, what government has also done is, or Parliament has also done is, Parliament has divided the state of Jammu and Kashmir into 2 union territories. Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir as well as Union territory of Ladakh. In the Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir, they also have something called as state legislature. But the UT of Ladakh does not have state legislature. Right? It is merely a UT without legislature. And Jammu and Kashmir, it is a UT but has legislature. In India, 3 UTs are such which have state legislature, meaning one is Jammu and Kashmir, another is the capital city Delhi, and third one is Pondicherry. Yes, the UT of Jammu and Kashmir has highest number of MLAs among UTs. Among UTs, it has 90 MLAs, 90 elected MLAs. Apart from them, there are some nominated MLAs as well. Recently, in Jammu and Kashmir, we have seen elections for the first time in the newly created UT as well. The party, National Conference, the same party of Sheikh Abdullah has won the election now. The grandson of Sheikh Abdullah, that is Umar Abdullah, has become the Chief Minister of the UT of Jammu and Kashmir. I hope now you understand how Jammu and Kashmir got integrated into India. Right? What were the complications in the integration of Jammu and Kashmir, and why Jammu and Kashmir is a major reason for tensions between the 2 neighboring countries, Pakistan and India. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much.